All right, so get this. We've got a whole stack of stuff to look at this time. Declassified documents, video clips, some pretty wild theories.
Sounds like my kind of deep dive. What's the theme this time?
Well, it seems like there's a lot pointing to like a hidden history.
Oh, okay.
Maybe even like some hidden hand kind of guiding humanity, you know?
Yeah, I can see how all that stuff you sent over fits into that kind of framework.
That's what we're here for, right?
Right.
To try to make sense of it, separate the signal from the noise.
So where do we want to begin with this?
Well, these declassified documents caught my eye. The ones about the UFO sightings near nuclear facilities.
Ah, yeah. That's a real head scratcher, isn't it? We're talking Cold War era.
Yeah.
Reports from both U.S. and Soviet Union.
Right.
And these reports talk about UFOs being seen near nuclear bases and sometimes even seeming to mess with the missile systems.
Like what's going on there?
Yeah.
It's not just like some random thing in the sky. It's like they're targeting these places.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about that Malmstrom Air Force Base incident back in 1967.
Oh, yeah.
Glowing red object suddenly appears and boom, a whole bunch of nuclear missiles go offline. Doesn't sound like a coincidence, does it?
No.
And then you've got the RAF Bentwaters incident over in England, 1980. Same story, UFOs near a base storing nuclear weapons. And reports start coming in about malfunctions with the weapons systems.
So we've got the U.S., we've got the U.K. It's like worldwide this is happening.
Yeah.
And not just any time.
Yeah.
This is during like peak Cold War tensions.
Exactly. So you got to wonder, what's the connection? Is it just Cold War paranoia? Or is there something more to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like too much of a coincidence, almost like a pattern.
It is a pattern.
You know?
And the nuclear connection, it doesn't stop there.
Really?
You've also got Chernobyl back in 86, Fukushima, 2011, and then again in 2016.
Multiple times at Fukushima.
Yeah. Like every time there's a major nuclear incident, these UFOs show up.
The Chernobyl thing, that always gets me.
Oh, yeah.
Those workers who saw that UFO hovering over the reactor right before the radiation levels just suddenly dropped.
I know, right. It makes you think.
For sure. And then both Chernobyl and Fukushima, they had massive damage, obviously. But they avoided complete meltdowns.
But it did, which makes you wonder.
Yeah. Could someone or something have been intervening?
It's a question worth asking, you know. We may not have concrete proof, but the timing, the sheer number of reports, it's all very suggestive.
So, okay, we've got UFOs potentially messing with nukes, maybe even trying to prevent meltdowns, sending us a message about all that.
It's possible.
What else? You mentioned the Pleiadians.
Yes, the Pleiadians, often described as this benevolent alien race from the Pleiades star cluster.
I mean, it sounds pretty sci-fi.
It does sound a bit out there.
Is there anything to back that up?
Well, there's the alien encounter stories.
Like abductions and things.
Not quite. Like, take Peter Curry's experience.
Back in 92, reported being paralyzed in bed.
Oh, God.
And there was a woman straddling him.
This is the one with the weird hair, right?
Yes, exactly that one. He found a single hair afterward, had it analyzed. Turns out it was optically clear, like fishing line. And it had two distinct DNA types.
What? Two different DNAs?
Yeah, Celtic. And a rare Chinese lineage. Scientists were baffled.
Wow. That's hard to explain away.
It is. Yeah. And then you've got the Cherokee. They have traditions linking their ancestors back to the Pleiades.
It's not just them, though, right?
No, not at all.
And the Egyptians had stories about the Pleiades, and Scandinavians, Romans, Chinese.
All sorts of cultures.
Just this globally significant thing.
It really is. And here's a little tidbit. Many cultures saw 7 stars in the Pleiades.
Okay.
But only 6 are easily visible.
Huh. Interesting.
Like they had knowledge we've lost, or maybe we're just rediscovering.
That's a good point. Okay. So we've got these potential connections between UFOs and nukes, and then this whole Pleiadian angle. What else did you dig up? Well, let's talk about origins.
Origins, like the beginning of life on Earth.
Exactly. Francis Crick. Remember him?
I know the name.
Nobel laureate. Helped discover the structure of DNA.
Oh, yeah.
He came up with this theory called directed panspermia.
Which is?
The idea that life on Earth was deliberately seeded.
Seeded? By who?
By an advanced alien civilization.
Okay. That's a pretty wild idea.
It is. But it gets interesting when you consider what we learned from the Human Genome Project.
What's that?
Remember all that junk DNA?
Like the stuff that doesn't code for anything.
Exactly. 97% of human DNA.
That much.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, What's it doing there? Could it hold clues to our extraterrestrial origins?
So you're saying this junk DNA might actually be some kind of message?
Or maybe dormant genes. Or who knows what else? It's like a hidden history locked within our very cells.
Okay. Now that's getting really interesting. And wait, didn't the former head of Israel's space program say something about all this?
Hey, Meshid. Oh, yeah. He dropped a bombshell back in 2020.
Yeah. What was it again? Something about aliens working with governments.
Yeah. He claimed that there's this intergalactic federation that's been collaborating with world governments for decades.
No way, really.
That's what he said, including the U.S. Apparently, there are agreements in place to keep it all under wraps.
To avoid mass panic.
You got it.
That's crazy, but also kind of makes sense.
Right. I mean, governments are known for their secrets, especially when it comes to matters of national security.
So who knows what else they might be hiding?
Who knows, indeed. Okay, so we've got possible connections to nukes, we've got the Pleiadians, we've got hints of extraterrestrial origins. Now let's go even further back in time.
Further back, how much further can we go?
Let's talk about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Okay. To be honest, I've heard of those, but I don't really know what they are.
They're said to be a record of Earth's history channeled by Thoth,
Okay.
this Atlantean priest king.
Wait, Atlantis? Are we talking like myth and legend here?
Yeah, it gets a little fantastical, but just hear me out. The tablets describe Atlantis as this super advanced civilization.
Okay.
They had psychic abilities, advanced technologies, the whole 9 yards. And according to the tablets, they fell from grace because of these beings from Mars.
Martians. Seriously.
It's a wild story. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of what's in the Emerald Tablets actually lines up with other stuff we've been talking about.
Like what?
Well, Thoth is said to have built the Great Pyramid.
As a tomb, right?
Not according to the tablets. They say it was built as part of a Christ consciousness grid.
A what?
It's described as a network of energy points designed to help humanity evolve.
So like Lilay lines, I've heard about those.
Exactly. Those are often seen as part of a similar energy grid.
Interesting.
And there's more. The tablets also say there's this special airship hidden beneath the Sphinx.
An airship, like a flying machine.
That's what they say. And it's connected to this grid powered by consciousness itself.
An airship powered by consciousness.
It's a mind-blowing concept, but it speaks to a theme we keep seeing: the power of consciousness and its potential role in shaping reality.
This is getting pretty wild.
Yeah.
We've gone from UFOs and nuclear sites to ancient Atlantean priest kings and consciousness-powered airships.
And we're just getting started.
Right. Bring on the next layer. What else is there?
Let's talk about something a little darker. The Beast Machine.
The Beast Machine. What is that?
Imagine this: a subtle energy system
Okay.
controlling humanity.
Like some sort of hidden puppet master.
Kinda, yeah. Like a cosmic parasite siphoning energy from us.
Yeah, so we're all just batteries in this system. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. One of the sources even uses the word vampiring.
Like an energy vampire?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So where did this Beast Machine come from, and what are they trying to do with all this energy?
That's where things get really cosmic. The sources say it originated in a fallen galactic system called Weod.
Weod.
Yeah. And get this Beast Machine, it doesn't just affect Earth,
Right.
It's galaxy-wide. Apparently, billions of years ago.
Aliens.
Yeah, Weod created this thing called the Artha wormhole.
What's that?
It's like a connection point
A connection to what?
to their control matrix. And they plugged it right into our galaxy.
So they've basically hacked the Milky Way.
That's what it sounds like. And they've been siphoning our energy for who knows how long.
So all this is happening because of something that happened billions of years ago.
According to these sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it affects not just Earth, but the whole galaxy. It's hard to even grasp the scale of it all.
It is pretty mind-boggling. So what are they doing with all this energy? What's the point?
They don't say explicitly, but there are hints.
Like what?
It seems like they want to limit our consciousness to keep us from reaching our full potential.
So we're being deliberately held back.
That's one interpretation. They talk about how our Mara field should be spinning freely, but the Beast Machine distorts them, traps our energy, keeps us in a state of limitation.
So it's like we're all walking around with dimmer switches on our energy fields.
That's a good way to put it. And we don't even realize it.
This is all starting to feel a little matrixy.
I know what you mean. Okay, so we've got this Beast Machine messing with our energy, maybe even on a galactic scale. What else have we got?
Well, you mentioned something about alien deception.
Ah, yes. Buckle up for this one.
What is it?
They're saying that what we think of as aliens, extraterrestrial beings visiting Earth
Mm-hmm.
might actually be demonic entities.
Demonic entity, like from hell.
Well, not exactly. They say they're brought here through portals.
Portals.
Yeah, like interdimensional gateways.
So it's like an invasion.
Of sorts. And they're disguised as aliens.
They trick us.
Exactly.
Hmm.
They suggest that we're being desensitized to the idea of portals through movies, TV shows, video games, you name it.
So when they show up, we won't even question it.
Right, it'll just seem normal.
And then, bam, they've got us right where they want us.
A chilling thought, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
So we've got this beast machine messing with our energy. We've got demonic entities posing as aliens. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but we've only just scratched the surface.
I'm almost afraid to ask. But what else is there?
Well, let's talk about how we might be able to break free from all this.
Okay. I'm ready for a little hope. All right. So last time, we were talking about this beast machine, this energy stealing system, and maybe even some demonic entities disguised as aliens. It's a lot to process.
Yeah, it's definitely some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
We're dealing with forces and concepts that are way outside our normal understanding of reality.
For sure. So this beast machine, you said it's not just an Earth thing. It's like a whole galaxy-wide system. How does that even work?
Right, it's pretty mind-boggling. But according to the sources, it all goes back to this fallen galactic system called Wiad. They're the ones behind it all.
And they created the Artha wormhole, or whatever it's called, to connect to our galaxy.
Yeah, it's described as this incredibly advanced technology, like a way to transmit their control matrix across vast distances. Imagine a plugging their system right into our galaxy's energy grid.
So they're like cosmic hackers.
That's one way to put it. And the crazy thing is, this has supposedly been going on for billions of years. Ever since our galaxy fell from another galaxy called M31.
Billions of years. That's just insane. It's like trying to comprehend the size of the universe.
It is. It really stretches the limits of our imagination. But that's what these sources are suggesting. A cosmic drama unfolding over eons. A battle for consciousness between forces we can barely even comprehend.
It's wild. So amidst all this talk of manipulation and control, what's their end game? What are they trying to achieve with this whole beast machine thing?
That's a question that's been haunting me too, honestly. The sources don't give a clear-cut answer, no explicit objective, but there are hints.
Hints? Like what?
It seems like they want to limit our consciousness, to keep us from reaching our full potential, like we're being deliberately held back.
So like we're all operating at a fraction of our true capacity. That's kind of a terrifying thought.
It is. It's like we're living in this dimmed-down reality, never realizing how brightly we could shine if we weren't under their influence. They talk about how our mirror fields, our personal energy fields, should be vibrant and dynamic, but the beast machine distorts them, traps our energy, keeps us in a state of limitation.
So it's like they've put a cap on our energy levels.
In a way, yeah. Like imagine living your whole life with a dimmer switch on your soul, never knowing how bright you could truly be.
Okay. Now that's a depressing thought.
Yeah.
But is there any way to break free from this system?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Unfortunately, there's no easy answer. The sources don't offer some magic solution or a quick fix.
So we're stuck. There's nothing we can do.
Not necessarily. While there's no quick fix, the sources do point us towards a path of inner awakening, a journey of reclaiming our power. It's not about fighting some external enemy. It's about an internal shift.
So we need to focus on ourselves.
Exactly. It all starts with awareness. We need to see the system, recognize the patterns of manipulation, question everything we're told.
So like becoming aware of the matrix.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. Once we see the code, we can start to understand how it works. And from there, we can begin to rewrite it.
That makes sense. But how do we develop that kind of awareness? Where do we even begin?
Well, the sources emphasize the importance of connecting with our true spiritual essence, what they call our monad. It's a concept that can be a little difficult to grasp at first.
Yeah, monad. It's not exactly a word you hear every day. Can you break it down for us?
Sure. Think of it as the core of who you are, your true self, existing beyond the limitations of this physical reality, beyond the reach of the beast machine.
So like a higher self, a soul spark.
Exactly. And the more we strengthen that connection, the more we tap into a power that the beast machine can't touch.
Like we have this internal power source that's been dimmed, disconnected. And by connecting with our monad, we can turn the lights back on.
I love that analogy. You're getting it. And the beautiful thing is, this inner awakening, it's not just about individual liberation. It has a ripple effect.
A ripple effect. How so?
Each of us who awakens becomes a beacon, a source of light, pushing back against the darkness. And that inspires others to do the same. It creates a chain reaction.
So the more people who wake up,
Mm-hmm.
the weaker the beast machine's hold becomes.
Exactly. It's like a collective rising of consciousness, a shift in the balance of power.
That's a pretty powerful image. It gives me hope that even in the face of this vast manipulating system, we still have agency. We can choose to be part of the solution.
Absolutely. And that's where conscious choice comes in. We have the power to choose what we align with, what energies we feed.
So instead of feeding the beast machine with our fear and negativity, we can choose to nourish our own inner light.
Exactly. Cultivate love, compassion, truth. And every time we make that choice, we weaken the beast machine. And we contribute to the creation of a new reality, one that's aligned with our highest potential.
It's a reminder that even though we might feel small and insignificant in the face of these cosmic forces, our choices still matter.
They do. Every thought, every action, every choice we make sends a ripple through the fabric of reality.
So we have more power than we realize.
We do. And the key is to become aware of that power and to use it consciously.
So how do we do that? How do we make sure we're not accidentally feeding the beast machine?
It all comes back to discernment. Question everything. Do your research. Trust your intuition.
Don't just blindly accept what anyone tells you, even us.
Exactly. Think critically, explore different perspectives, and ultimately, come to your own conclusions.
Become sovereign beings.
Exactly. That's the key to breaking free from any system of control.
So let's recap for a moment. We've talked about distorted energy fields, a galaxy-wide control matrix, demonic entities posing as aliens, and the potential for liberation through inner awakening. It's been a wild ride so far.
It has. We've gone deep down the rabbit hole of forbidden knowledge.
But hopefully we've sparked some curiosity, some critical thinking along the way.
That's the goal. What resonates with you? What are you going to explore further? What questions are burning in your mind?
I think I need some time to digest all of this. Maybe try a little meditation, see if I can connect with my monad.
That sounds like a great plan. What about you? Anything you're particularly intrigued by?
Honestly, it's all pretty fascinating. But this whole idea of demonic entities disguised as aliens, that one's really sticking with me. It's like something out of a nightmare.
It's definitely a disturbing thought. But remember, it's just one interpretation.
Yeah.
There are many different perspectives on this, and it's up to each of us to decide what resonates with us.
Okay. So where do we go from here? What else do we need to explore?
Well, we've talked a lot about the potential for manipulation and control, but let's not forget about the possibility of positive extraterrestrial contact. The idea that there might be benevolent beings out there who are genuinely interested in helping humanity evolve.
Okay. That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the doom and gloom, but it's important to remember that there's always hope.
Exactly. So let's talk about the Pleiadians again.
Okay, the Pleiadians. You mentioned earlier that they're supposedly here to help us transition to a new Earth. What does that even mean?
It's a concept that's associated with a shift in consciousness, a move towards a more peaceful, harmonious, and sustainable way of being.
So like a spiritual evolution for humanity.
Exactly. A collective awakening to our true potential. And the Pleiadians are often depicted as guides, as beings who are further along this evolutionary path, and are offering their wisdom and support to help us navigate this transition.
Okay, but how do we know they're really out there? And even if they are, how are they supposed to help us?
Well, some people believe that they're already communicating with us, perhaps through dreams, intuitive insights, or even direct encounters.
Okay, I can see how that could be possible. But is there any tangible evidence to support this idea of Pleiadian contact?
Well, concrete evidence is hard to come by, but there are certain patterns and synchronicities that some people find compelling. For example, the Pleiades star cluster has played a significant role in the mythology and spirituality of many cultures throughout history.
Right, we talked about that earlier. The Egyptians, the Cherokee, the ancient Greeks, they all had stories about the Pleiades.
Exactly. And these stories often depict the Pleiades as a place of origin for humanity, or as a source of spiritual guidance. It's as if there's a deep connection between us and this star cluster, something embedded in our collective consciousness.
Yeah, it's like a thread that runs through human history, this fascination with the Pleiades.
It is, and when you add in the modern-day contact stories, and even physical evidence like Peter Curry's hair sample,
Right. That was a weird one.
it starts to paint a picture that's both fascinating and a little unsettling.
For sure. So if the Pleiadians are real, and they're here to help us, what kind of guidance are they offering? What are they trying to teach us?
From what I've gathered, the messages attributed to the Pleiadians focus on themes of love, compassion, unity, and responsibility. They emphasize the importance of connecting with our hearts, of recognizing our interconnectedness, and of making choices that benefit not just ourselves, but the entire planet.
It sounds like a pretty positive message, especially considering all the negativity and division we see in the world today.
It's a message of hope and a reminder that we have the power to create a better world.
I like that. So how do we connect with the Pleiadians? Do we need to build some kind of giant antenna and try to send them a message?
It might not be that complicated. Some people believe that we can connect with them through meditation prayer, or simply by setting the intention to open ourselves to their guidance.
So it's more about an internal connection than an external one.
Exactly. It's about tuning into our inner guidance system, our intuition, and being open to receiving messages from sources beyond our everyday perception.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. What do I got to lose?
Exactly. It's all about exploration. And who knows? You might be surprised by what you discover.
All right, so we've got the Beast Machine, and we've got the Pleiadians. What other cosmic mysteries have we uncovered in these sources?
Well, let's talk about something that ties into both of those themes. Dimensional levels.
Dimensional levels.
Yeah.
Like other dimensions beyond our own. I've always been fascinated by that concept, but I've never really understood what it means.
It's a concept that's often explored in esoteric teachings and some branches of theoretical physics. Imagine it this way. Our physical reality, the one we experience with our five senses, is like a single frame in a movie.
Okay, I'm following.
But there are countless other frames, other dimensions existing simultaneously, each with its own unique set of rules and possibilities.
So like parallel universes.
That's one way to think about it. And the idea is that we as human beings have the potential to access these other dimensions, to expand our awareness beyond the limitations of our physical reality.
Whoa, that's pretty mind-blowing. But how do we do that? How do we access these other dimensions?
Well, according to some of the sources you provided, the key is consciousness. The more we expand our consciousness, the more we raise our vibrational frequency, the more we're able to perceive and interact with these other dimensions.
So it's not about physically traveling to another dimension. It's about shifting our consciousness to a point where we can perceive it.
Exactly. It's like tuning into a different radio frequency. We're always surrounded by these other dimensions, but we need the right receiver to pick up the signal.
Okay, that makes sense.
I do.
But what does it mean to expand our consciousness? How do we actually do that?
There are many paths to expanding consciousness. Meditation, prayer, spending time in nature, creative expression, acts of kindness. All of these can help us to raise our vibrational frequency and open ourselves to new possibilities.
So it's not just about sitting on a meditation cushion. It's about living a life that's aligned with our highest values.
Exactly. It's about bringing more consciousness into everything we do, every thought, every action, every interaction.
I like that. It's a reminder that spirituality isn't something separate from our everyday lives. It's about how we live, how we relate to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us.
Beautifully said. And when we start to live in this way with more awareness, more intention, we might be surprised by the doors that open to us, the new dimensions of reality we begin to perceive.
This is all starting to connect for me. We've got the Beast Machine trying to suppress our consciousness, the Pleiadians offering guidance and support, and this whole concept of dimensional levels waiting to be explored. It's like a cosmic adventure, and it seems like we're just getting started.
You're catching on quickly. And remember, this is just a glimpse into the vast tapestry of knowledge and possibilities that's out there. The journey of discovery is infinite.
So how do these dimensional levels connect to the Beast Machine and the Pleiadians?
Well, some sources suggest that the Beast Machine is operating from a lower dimensional level, perhaps the third or fourth dimension, and its goal is to keep humanity trapped within those lower levels, to prevent us from accessing the higher dimensions, where we're more likely to connect with our true power and our spiritual essence.
So it's like they're trying to keep us in the basement, while the Pleiadians are inviting us to come upstairs and experience the penthouse view.
That's a great analogy. And the choice is ours, which level of reality we choose to align with.
So if we choose to align with the higher dimensions, with love, compassion, and unity, we can break free from the Beast Machine's control and step into a new reality.
That's the potential. And it's a potential that's within each of us.
I'm really starting to feel a sense of hope here. Even though the situation seems dire, we have the power to choose a different path.
That's the beauty of it. We're not victims, we're creators. And we have the power to create a reality that's aligned with our highest aspirations.
Okay, I'm ready for the next layer. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, okay. So we've gone deep into this rabbit hole. You know, UFOs, ancient mysteries, a galaxy-wide control system. It's all pretty mind-blowing.
It really pushes the boundaries of what we think we know. It makes you wonder, are we truly alone in this vast universe?
That's the big question, isn't it? And these sources, we've got everything from benevolent Pleiadians to potentially demonic entities disguised as aliens.
A whole spectrum of possibility.
Yeah, and even if we just entertain the idea that we're not alone, it changes everything. How we see ourselves, our place in the cosmos.
It's a humbling thought.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what if they've been watching us this whole time? What are their intentions?
Right. Are they friendly, hostile? What impact could they have on our world?
It's kind of scary, honestly. All those sci-fi movies about alien invasions, they start to feel a little too real.
I hear you. It's natural to feel some fear when facing the unknown. But remember, fear is often a projection of our own inner shadows.
So if we approach the unknown with fear, we're more likely to attract negative experiences.
Exactly. We create our reality with our thoughts and beliefs. So if we want to attract positive extraterrestrial contact, we need to approach it with an open mind and a positive attitude.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still hard to shake that feeling of unease, you know?
I understand. It's a big adjustment to our worldview. But what if we're not alone in this journey? What if there are benevolent beings out there helping us along the way?
Like the Pleiadians.
Yes. Maybe others we haven't even encountered yet. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? That we're not just adrift in a hostile universe.
It's just, how do we navigate all of this? How do we know what's true and what's not?
That's where discernment comes in, honing your critical thinking skills, trusting your intuition, learning to feel the energy of things.
So it's about developing our own inner compass.
Exactly. That's the key to navigating this complex reality.
Okay. But how do we do that? Is it something we can learn? Or are some people just born with it?
I think it's a combination of both. We all have an innate intuition, but it often gets buried under layers of conditioning and limiting beliefs.
So we need to peel back those layers.
Exactly. Reconnect with your authentic self and learn to trust that inner voice.
Okay, I can see that. But what about the practical stuff? You know, we're still here on Earth dealing with everyday challenges.
Yeah.
How do all these cosmic concepts translate into our daily lives?
It's a good question. And I think the answer lies in this idea that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. In other words, the same principles that govern the universe also operate within each of us.
So if there's a battle for consciousness happening on a cosmic scale, there's a similar battle happening within each of us.
Exactly. We all have aspects of ourselves that are aligned with love and expansion, and aspects that are rooted in fear and limitation. It's about becoming aware of those inner dynamics and making choices that support the evolution of our consciousness.
So it's not just about fighting external forces. It's about mastering our own inner landscape.
You got it. As we do that inner work, as we become more conscious and aligned, we naturally elevate the collective consciousness.
It's like our individual choices have a ripple effect.
Exactly, like the butterfly effect, but on a spiritual level.
It's pretty amazing to think about. So even though things might seem dark and uncertain, we actually have the power to create a more beautiful world.
That's the message I want you to take away from this. You have the power to choose love over fear, unity over division, expansion over limitation. And as you do that, you become a beacon of light for others.
That's a beautiful thought. Thank you for sharing all of this with me. It's been an incredible journey.
The pleasure was all mine. Remember, the exploration doesn't end here. Keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep shining your light brightly.
I will. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore these ideas further. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep embracing the infinite possibilities that lie within you and